Okay everybody, I'm going to talk about this new pouring handle that I came up with. It's a new different stand than I've made before. It's really simple, and what it comes with is two sizes of crucibles. Got a little wrench because this top part will slide back if you needed to, and it has this little table. Normally when you see these, they're included with a sand casting kit, but with this one I just wanted to have something that could be used for pouring other things as well. So the way it would work is that, say you were doing sand casting, if you tip this forward, what you want is the back side of the pour hole here. You want the edge of the crucible to line up with that, and then you also want it to be centered this way. And what happens is when the metal comes off of here, it comes out about a ½ inch, and it'll go right down the hole. And so another thing that could work in here would be an ingot type of mold. Now it has to be, if you're going to use this table, it can't be wider than the posts here. But this particular model works pretty good. But if you pull that forward, this is something you'd have to practice, because it's already pretty tall, and you want to be able to, at least if you're going to use an ingot mold, at least get to where you're vertical. And then the other thing is that you're going to have to really practice figuring out, because it's, like I say, it's going to come out about a ½ inch. So you're going to have to practice figuring out which hole it's going to land in. I mean, I've been doing this almost 40 years, and I would have to practice this. It's not, the pouring handle works great for beginners, but you're not going to just get it right the first time. You're going to have to practice with it. But things like this, they're going to be a little more difficult. You could maybe turn it this direction. That might actually work better. And then you just have to figure out about ½ inch away where that hole is going to be. Another thing you can do is, with the larger flask, and the way I design my flask is it's got a narrow end and a wide end. And so on this particular model, you do it on the narrow end, and if you tip that forward, it lines up almost exactly to the back of that. You could move that out a little bit, and that would, the metal would go right down inside. I think that's pretty much it. The other thing is you loosen these. That gets slid back, and you can take this out, and then if you wanted to, you can put in this support disc, which works with a smaller crucible. And then what you'd do is you'd raise this up and set those down. But you want to make very sure that these bolts, the tops, fit over the edge of the crucible. And when you tighten this down, you tighten the back one first, and you tighten this to the point that it's snug. You don't, if it turns a little bit, that's fine. You don't want to crank it down too tight, because then you're going to put too much pressure on the edge of the crucible. So you just want to get it snug, and you want to get it to the point where, you know, it's not going to fall out. But I think that's about it. The same goes with this one. It has a little different support disc, and again, you would put it in there the same way, and you'd tighten it down till it's snug. And I think one other thing I would say is you don't have to use the table. You know, this particular model doesn't go up and down, but you could come up with something where this could be lower. That might actually work a little better. Or you could find something, you know, maybe a little taller than that, but something that's stable that would bring that up to a more comfortable level. So I'll leave it at that. That gives you an idea how this pouring handle works. All right, thank you.